And I'm going to get a little bit more into him right now, but let me first say welcome to everybody. I'm Reverend Beverley Strutt. I am the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living, East Hawaii, and it's my honor today to be here with you. So thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask that gentleman over there to stand up. Come on. You may not know who he is, but you know his work. This is it. Welcome home. It's wonderful to see you again. So let's begin. We'll start with Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, which will be celebrated tomorrow. And we do know that early in his career, he preached about the need to have 3 dimensions in our lives: length, breadth, and height. I've got a ticking noise, Joe. I wonder if maybe we've got a bird out back. That could be it. It's all good. It's just interesting because my filter is being filled with something other than what I'm used to. Anyway, length is about our connection to ourselves. Breadth is about our connection to our community. Height is about our connection to the transcendent. If these 3 dimensions are out of whack, King said, we will be too. Isn't that wonderful? He was widely regarded as America's preeminent advocate for nonviolence and one of the greatest nonviolent leaders in the world history. At the age of 35, he was the youngest man to have received the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes. And as it is, this is the first day, the beginning of the season of nonviolence. Oh, my goodness. It's so heart-wrenching to think that we have to have just a season of it, that this just isn't a way of life for each and every one of us all the time. Anyway, the Season of Nonviolence is a global grassroots campaign dedicated to raising awareness about the transformative power of nonviolence. It was established by Mahatma Gandhi as a yearly event celebrating the philosophies and lives of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. The season marks the 64 calendar days between the memorial anniversary of the assassinations of Gandhi on January 30th and King on April 4th. Nonviolence, this is Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote, "Nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon which cuts without wounding and enables the one who wields it. It is a sword that heals." Wow, one more time. Nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon which cuts without wounding and enables the one who wields it. It is a sword that heals. So in that atmosphere of nonviolence, I invite and encourage each and every one of us in our daily walks over the next 64 days to bring awareness to the nonviolence that we can perceive in our own beings first before we take it out into the world. Let's be the light that shines this not just for these days, but for all of the days of our lives. And we take a breath. So today, our talk is co-creating with God. I love it, Sonny. He set me up so well. There's so much I could just cut. We're going to be out of here like this, because he's got great quotes, some of them in mind too, so you might hear them twice. But I can't think on my feet. Maybe not today, but I normally can. So here it is. We are co-creating with God every minute of every day by literally the very breath we breathe. So last week I spoke about what? The thing itself. I call it God. Remember, we did a little process. You can call it whatever you want. I'm up with it, whatever it is. If you want to fill me in, maybe I'll use it sometime, but you can call it whatever you want. We understand what this thing is. It is everything. There is nothing that is outside of it at all. Everything. Everything we can possibly imagine is in it. And how it works. How does it work? It works by coming and expressing through us. We are the expression of divine, and it works that way, through us. So what do I get to do today? I get to speak about what it does and how we get to use it. Because what good would it be if we couldn't do anything with it, right? And part of that, using it, is the creative process that Sunny was speaking to. I'm not going to go into the actual creative process, otherwise I would have the symbol up here. For all of those taking foundations class, you'll get it. For sure, and a lot of it. But I'm going to go through some of it, and we're going to get the big idea around what it does and how we can use it. But of course, let's get something funny, because this is part of how we manifest stuff in the world. I love this joke. I had to just use it. A woman was feeling stress because she was driving to an important business meeting and could not find a parking place. Anybody a manifest of parking places, princes and palaces? Anybody? Anybody? Come on, we've all manifested parking places. Of course. All right. So she couldn't find this parking place, so she began praying. Of course. God. The beseeching prayer. Not the spiritual mind treatment, the beseeching. God, if you'll create a parking space for me, I promise to be a better person. Anybody used that one before? Yeah. I'll practice my faith. I'll be kind to everyone, and I'll give up my vices. That's one I never put in. I never put that one in the prayer, because it ain't going to happen, you know. It's never going to happen. I'll give up my vices. And just then, a parking place appeared right in front of her. So she was pulling in. She concluded her prayer, go, never mind, I found one. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Sometimes we just don't recognize when God is working with and through us. Oh, my goodness. All right, I got to get this in a place where I can see my notes today. So what does this do? This wonderful, magnificent, intelligent power, this presence that works through us. It is expressing through us. So we have to do our work around that, because we've got to clear out some of the stuff that gets in the way. You know, you want a nice clean stream of water, you got to clean out the, how do I say it delicately? Yes, you got to clean it out. And we do our practices around that. We do our forgivenesses. We try and be a clean, clear vessel for Spirit to work through, because it's going to work through us to manifest out in the world. This is the energy. That's how it works. Very easy. And then there's this other part of it where it works as it responds to us. This is a responsive energy. It's not something that creates frivolously. It is a creation, but as it creates through us, it is responding to who we are, what we believe, and of course, if we clear ourselves out, we get much clearer responses. Any questions? No, no questions. Come to the class. But the one big thing about this is, if we don't believe that this can do anything, or that it is what we say it is, if we do not have the faith and the understanding of it, it cannot work for us how we would like it to work. Right? It's an understanding of how this works. Sunny spoke of the law. Troward was a big one. The law. Ernest was big on the love and the law. Love points the way, law makes it happen. The law I'm speaking of are the basic laws of the universe, the laws of nature. These laws that everything that we are a part of functions by these laws. Circulation, cause and effect, attraction. You know, those are just to name a couple. We have many of them. These are the basic laws of creation. Love is one of those laws. And you go, love? But love's an intimate thing. No, no. One more time. The love that is part of creation is the reason moss grows on the north side of the tree. You've heard me say it, I'll say it again. It grows on the north side of the tree. If it grows on the south side, it's going to burn up. So there is the love behind creation that is the ever self-expression of God. And the law of God is how it walks its way out into the world. And it gets to do that through us, through our understanding of how these laws work and our faith that they do. Today, all the quotes I read are from this book. I'd say only time I bring the book in is the first 4 weeks of the year, right? This baby. And mine is twice the size because it's been used. For those in class, yours will become maybe an eighth bigger as we go through it. And then as you get more into it, it'll look like this too. I've had this one a long time. Like I told you, I didn't read it, but I had it. There's something about reading it that makes a difference, huh? I didn't know about that one. Anyway, so all of the quotes today are Dr. Ernest Holmes. It comes from our textbook. He says, a unity must be established and a conscious connection must be made before we can derive the benefits which the greater mind is willing to reveal or impart to us. The Spirit can give only what we can take. Woohoo! It can give only what we can take. Isn't that an invitation to expand? It imparts of itself only as we partake of its nature. It can tell us only what we can understand. So it's important for us to start to delve into being open, put aside our resistance about how we think things are, and open ourselves up to this idea of how things can be, how this stuff can really work. You know, Dennis says it so well. What do you say, Dennis?
This stuff works.
Oh, he said this stuff. He said this stuff. He cleaned it up for us today. He doesn't normally say the word stuff. This stuff really works. It is the nature of the universe to give us what we are able to take. It cannot give us any more than that. It has given all. We have not yet accepted the greater gift. So we have to be willing to receive. We have to be willing to receive. We have to be willing, in order to demonstrate our good, we must become conscious of it. If we want something, we must become conscious of what it is we want and how it is in this magnificent intelligence. And we speak about our thoughts because this intelligence, what it is giving us all the time is ideas. The substance of creation is literally ideas. You think, oh God, give me some cash. Yeah, you get the cash, but it comes through an idea. Is that idea of where it's going to come from or how it's going to be? Or is it literally the idea that money grows on trees? Because it can, and it does. I have proof of that. It might have been a drug deal gone bad, but there was money in the tree. I'm not kidding you. I reached up and plucked out the $20 bill, and I was like, woohoo. So it's a true story. So the idea is that this whole substance that infuses us is infusing us with ideas that we get to manifest and bring forth in the world. And you know, one of the best things about it is that we don't have to work with this little baby mind. We get to connect with God, the big mind, go off into that field of infinite potentiality and just be. We get to just be. And when we're being, God's going, woohoo, yes, I'm ready to give. Let's give even more. This person is ready to receive. This is the substance of creation. These are the ideas. And sometimes they come through as a thought. Dr. Ernest Holmes was big on talking about how thoughts can change our thinking. They change our thinking, change our lives. Our thoughts can change our life. He says there's no limit to thought. When we think, something happens to thought. The field through which thought operates is infinite potentiality. There is no reason to doubt it. Anybody got doubts? Yes, there is no reason to doubt that this works. And the best way to experience it is to let go of the doubt, dive in, give it a shot. You will be surprised at what comes forward when you let go of this idea that you want to hold on so strongly to what you thought that you had to believe. We let go. We let the resistance go. It's a waste of time. Dr. Holmes goes, why try and fight for this thing that you can't prove or understand? Just get on with it. Just get on with it. Dive in, start using the laws, and let's see what happens. Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. So how much of this infinite good is yours? Mine, ours? All of it. All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? Nope. As much as you can embody. Yes, I would love to say all of it. Even I would love to say I can use all of it, but I can only use the amount that I can embody. A very perfect little example, a sweet little example of that is when somebody goes, I want $1 million. I write, we write the check for $1 million. Boom, we write it. But we don't always seem to get the $1 million. Why? Because it's an idea that we can't embody. 100,000, can you embody that? Yes, you got it. Very simple, very sweet little idea about embodying something. If you have a but in your affirmation sentence, you're not embodying it. I am infinite love, but I don't feel really good today. Yeah, so therefore you're not. You cannot have what you can't embody, and if there's a but anywhere in your sentence, the but is what you're getting. You're not getting the other statement. Got it? Yes? So be aware of this stuff where we go, well, I want to write these great affirmations, I want to bring the wonderful thoughts in, I want to manifest them, but I don't believe them. Okay. Resistance, number one, let's put it aside. Let's dive into the potential of it. But if you're saying but, you don't get it. You don't get to embody it with a but. Maybe a but with a double T. We all have those. We can really embody those, some of us more than others, but not the but in the sentence. All right, so how do we get to use this? How do we get to use this magnificent power, this intelligence that is working through us, wants to be expressed, wants you to be embodying as much as you possibly can, and to keep expanding? Well, first of all, we've got to understand the laws of the universe, how it works. One of those, the law of attraction, does not avoid the word but. Cause and effect. Be responsible for what it is you're thinking and doing, because that is what you're going to get back. All right? Also, cause and effect is also about your belief system, because it is responding to your belief system, so it's going to give you who you are. I'm going to say that again. It's going to give you who you are. Yeah, we start with saying, but it's going to give me what I'm thinking. Yeah. Once the thought has moved from the thought and has become embodied in the body and in the belief system, it becomes who you are. That's what this energy is responding to. Who you are. Ah. Whew, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You're like going, but I'm trying so hard. Yeah, and you know what? In that trying and in that embodying, so things will start to change. And the more they change, the more your belief system changes, and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows, until one day you wake up and you go, whoa, who's that wonderful person I'm seeing in the mirror right now? Yes, look at all this magnificent stuff, people, love, relationships I've managed to manifest around me. These are the gifts of thought. These are the gifts that are responding to who we believe we are. There is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we get to use it. Oh, goodness, one of my favorite quotes of Dr. Ernest Holmes ever. There's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we get to use it. So we use it through our beliefs because it responds to that. But here's the key thing. Nobody is immune from these laws. And you can go, but I'm not buying this, so I don't believe it. Here's a little story. My boyfriend tends to be a little less, how could I say this, trusting, understanding of this work and how it works. He also tends to be a little cynical from time to time. But, you know, I've rubbed off on him a little bit. And so he's loosened up a little bit in the last 20 years. But when we go to a restaurant, it's very common for him to go, you know, I just know, you know, this place, I never get a good meal. I said to him, but don't, you know, like, come on, you know, just think positive. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. This stuff of yours doesn't work. What do you think he gets? A junky meal, of course. I'm sitting there loving every minute of it. I've got this great food. You know, this beauty is all over my plate. I'm getting to love and enjoy it. I've got a smile on my face, and he's like, that food sucks. Yeah, well, you said it would. Yeah, but this stuff doesn't work. Yes, it works. Even if you think it's not working, it's still working to show you that it's not working. So I'm going to read Dr. Holmes's quote. This paragraph has got a big, huge writing all over it because it was a paragraph given to me in ministry school to write a whole piece on it. The fact that mark was already there before it was given to me tells you that this is one of my favorite statements in the world. He says, hence, it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing not to work. When we believe that it cannot and will not, according to the principle, then, according to the principle, it does not. So when we believe, I used dictation for this, and it says comma. I was like, what? Comma? You're supposed to put a comma, not say a comma. Okay. When we believe that it cannot and will not, then, according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. It only does according to our belief that it will not. So even if we're claiming that it's not going to work, it's going to prove you right. You will always be right. Isn't that fun? I'm going to read that whole piece again because it's so brilliant. It follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing not to work. When we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. Isn't that brilliant? It's absolutely brilliant. So just know that every minute of the day, if you think something will not happen and you don't believe that this stuff works, it's working. And it's working by proving by not working. All right, I'm going to dig a hole if I go any deeper into that. So we understand that this energy is a responsive energy. So anything you claim is yours. Right up front, anything you claim is yours. So what we do here at this wonderful Center for Spiritual Living is we give you some tools to use of how we can get this energy to respond to us in the way we desire. We want to be able to direct it a little bit. We want to use it appropriately. So first of all, we've got to clear the way, because we want to eventually come and become what it is we want to experience. Because we can only have out there who we are inside. So this is working for us. We have to change our thinking. That's the beginning. That's the first thing to happen, is to have a new idea. And the creation is literally ideas coming at you every minute. So have a new idea. But it's always been this way. Oh my goodness. That is the first one that's got to go. Principle is not bound by precedent. It's just because it's always been doesn't mean to say it has to be. Change your thinking. And that's the beginning part. And then it changes the thought. And then it moves through the body into the belief and becomes who we are. Simple. Very, very simple. None of this is complicated, folks. None of it is complicated. He makes it sound a little complicated, but it truly isn't. Think the thought, be the person, here you see your experience. It's easy. And yes, there is work to be done. And one of the great things that we get to do when we want to create with this power is to create a mental equivalent. Creating a mental equivalent means having the idea and the picture and the conviction with you and in front of you in order for it to become manifest in your world. Everything is created twice. Remember it. This beautiful podium was a complete idea in that gentleman's mind before it was ever created. It was a mental equivalent he had of this before it could be physically created. That is not just for the physical world. That is for our emotional world. It is for everything that we are. If you do not have a mental equivalent of it, you're not going to get much out of it. You're going to go to default creation for what they out there think you should have. So you create your thoughts, you bring up a mental equivalent for what it is you have. One of a great example, right now, we're in the wild card series of football. Anybody saying woohoo for what's happened yesterday? There we go. All right. Now, have you noticed that teams that win more often? This is not just because they've got great players, because there are a lot of teams that have fantastic players. But once you have won once, you have a solid mental equivalent for what it feels like to win. You know the feeling tone. You know how it feels. And you create from there. Think about it. Watch the people around you. Those that have already done something have their mental equivalent solid. So we work on our mental equivalent. The limit of our ability to demonstrate depends on our ability to provide a mental equivalent of our desires. For the law of correspondence works from the belief to the things. But it is within our it is within our power to provide a greater mental equivalent through the unfolding of consciousness. And this growth from within will finally lead to freedom. Remember last week I started with why are we in Science of Mind? What is the purpose of it? Freedom. This is what your mental equivalent is the beginning of. Isn't it wonderful? This stuff really, truly works. And if you want more of it, today's the last day to sign up for foundations. I got the plug in, right? So just remember, the thing itself is all that there is. How does it work? Through us. What does it do? Respond to us. And how do we use it? By saying yes. And by believing that it works. And by actively thinking and bringing forward that which we claim. Because remember, you will always be right. So in conclusion, let me just add this one little beautiful piece. This is from Dr. Holmes. A new light is coming into the world. We are on the borderland of a new experience. The veil between spirit and matter is very thin. The invisible passes into the visibility through our faith in it. A new science, a new religion, and a new philosophy are rapidly being developed. This is in line with the evolution of the great presence, and nothing can hinder its progress. It is useless as well as foolish to make any attempts to cover this principle or to hold it as a vested right of any religion, sect, or order. The truth will be out. The Spirit will make itself known. Happy are we if we see these things which, from the foundation of the human race, have been longed for by all aspiring souls. And so it is. Thank you. Let's take this to prayer. So in this moment, we take a breath in and recognize the one power, the one source, the one universal creative mind that I call God. God is all there is, all that is seen, all that is unseen, omnipotent and omnipresent, ever creating, supplying, supporting, sustaining, and maintaining every single expression. There is absolutely nothing that is not in, of, and in this magnificent intelligence, this creativity, this love, these laws. This is God. This is all that there is. And I know that I am one with it. I know that we are all one with it as it moves around us and through us and as us, in all that we do, in all that we think, in all that we feel, in all that we say, in all that we experience. Gosh, and I know how blessed we are. For as we open our minds and our hearts to understand it, to embrace it, to embody the laws of the nature of how it works and what it does and how we can use it, we stand in this wonderment, waiting and knowing that we are expanding and embodying the greatest wonderful potential of ourselves. We are here for the joy of God. We are here to be the most magnificent expression, the highest ideal that God has for us. So I know as we walk our path this week that we take the opportunity to step into this, leave the resistance and doubt behind, and dive in all the way, for it is there where we meet God. It is there where we meet ourselves. It is there where we grow. It is there where we have a new idea. And it is brilliant. So I know that this is the truth for each and every one of us. And I know that Spirit has already said yes. Yes, my beloveds, yes. You have set your intentions, you've expressed your desires, and it is already done, and done magnificently. So we claim this prayer as I release it, knowing that it is so. So together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Susanna.